Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a clean with me. I'll be starting in my bathroom, working on my shower, wiping down my toilet, washing my sink and mirror, and then I'll be moving on to the kitchen, washing dishes, wiping off the counters, vacuuming the floor and mopping it after I get it all swept up. And then I'll also be cleaning up the microwave, and I'll finish up in the hallway. So I hope this video gives you a lot of cleaning inspiration. There is just shy of about an hour's worth of cleaning time here. So like I said, I hope it gives you some inspiration to get cleaning yourself. I know it always helps when you feel like you have sort of a cleaning buddy going on. So feel free to turn on this video and then just sort of get to work. I started in my shower. As you can see, the shower has a lot of, I guess it would be rust stains from the water. The water here, for some reason, it really doesn't smell that great, and I noticed that there's always a lot of buildup after a while, and it looks like this sort of pinkish red color. So I wanted to get that scrubbed up, wanted to get the picture dusted, wanted to get the toilet cleaned up and wiped down, and the mirror washed, and the sink all washed. So that's pretty much what I plan to tackle in this part of the video, and even get the floor wiped down some. We have a sink that has two legs propping it up, so it's not a particularly fancy sink or anything, but we rent the house, so we have what we have, and this is what I've got to work with. So I'm going to get to work on the shower first. I'm using the Grove Collaborative tub and tile spray, and I'm going to give the good spray down to the tiles and the bottom of the shower here so I can get started cleaning, and then I'm going to grab my brush and just get scrubbing. And this is the end result of all the work. The bottom of the shower is nice and clean now. The toilet's all cleaned off, the floor is clean, and the sink is all shiny and nice and pretty now. So now on to the kitchen. So first thing I'm going to dig into putting stuff up from the dish rack and then get washing the dishes. I love using my little, it's from Grove Collaborative. It's a little dish. It's a bubble up type dish thing. I have the one for the bubble up brush, but this is for the sponge, and I love using that thing. So I'm refilling the water with hot water and soap on that, and then I'm going to get washing with that. I have a bunch of storage containers in the sink that need to be washed, and then after that I have some pots on the stove, and I'm going to get those washed and then load whatever needs to go into the dishwasher into there to get ready to wash those. But in general, just sort of clearing the sink, washing dishes, and wiping the counters. I think by far my favorite room in the house to clean is the kitchen. For some reason, I notice that whenever I'm stressed, I'll pretty much go straight to the sink and start washing dishes. It's just, I don't know, it's sort of like a soothing type of thing. My husband's even joked at me before about how he can tell in those times where I get stressed out, I'll go straight to the kitchen sink and start washing whatever dishes are there. And I like wiping down the counters and the stove too, so it's sort of my go-to room and my go-to chores when I just sort of feel the need to get something done and sort of get lost in my thoughts while I'm washing the dishes. So here I am washing out some, they're the plastic storage containers. I actually prefer glass containers, but my husband had these for a while and they had the lid attached to them. So you don't have to go searching for a lid when you go to put the food away, which is nice, but they are more difficult to dry, so they always have to dry on the rack, because the groove that attaches the lid to the container when you're closing them, it's very hard to get the towel in there to dry them, so I usually just let them air dry on the rack so they can get completely dry. But usually my routine is wash dishes, wipe down the counters, wipe down the stove, and then vacuum, because while I love vacuuming, if I'm wiping down the counters, food particles are bound to fall on the floor, so it just seems silly to vacuum and then wipe down the counters. Although there have been times where I will grab the vacuum and I'll just do a quick sweep up if I haven't gotten to do the dishes and wiping down the counters, because wiping down the counters pretty much always comes after doing the dishes. So if I see stuff that needs vacuumed up, I'll usually grab and do a quick job on the floor before I've even gotten the counters wiped down. But that usually comes afterwards, and after vacuuming, that's when I generally will mop the floors. But I gotta say, the kitchen is probably my favorite room to clean in the house. I'm not sure why, it's the most enjoyable and the most relaxing, really. In a moment here, you can see me talking, and it's because the family room is just off the kitchen, and while I was washing the dishes, my husband was in the family room. I can't remember if he was watching Dr. Taylor Marshall or Dr. Taylor Marshall and Tim Gordon, or it might have actually been another channel that he likes to watch on YouTube, but he was hanging out in the family room with our daughter while I was washing the dishes, so occasionally I'll chat with him while I'm cleaning. And this is my Mrs. Meyer's multi-surface cleaner in honeysuckle. I love the way this stuff smells. You've probably seen me use it in my other videos too, but yeah, I hands down love the scent of this stuff. And I just recently got the concentrate form, so I refilled the bottle with some of the cleaner and filled the rest with water, and now I'm back in business without having to buy, just another smaller spray bottle. So that concentrate should last for a really long time, but absolutely love the way the honeysuckle scent smells. It's fantastic. I'll probably go ahead and order some of the pumpkin scented one from Grove Collaborative, and I'm thinking about maybe doing the pine. I think they had an apple one too when I looked on there last, but I'll probably go ahead and order some of that for the fall and winter seasons, just to keep it smelling with the season. But the honeysuckle is definitely one of my go-tos. I also have peony and I think it's lavender, maybe it's lilac, but I have those two as well. Those were the spring scents, and I do use the peony more than the other one, but hands down, honeysuckle is definitely my favorite. So I use it on pretty much everything, including the stove. Unless the stove has like really hard to get off grease, then I'll get out the Method Heavy Duty Degreaser. But it wasn't too bad on the stove, so I just used the Mrs. Meyer's honeysuckle to clean off the stove. Since I already wiped down the counters, I decided to head over to the dishwasher and wipe down the top and the front of that, because it's been a little while since it had been wiped down, and after being touched, it's going to get grimy. So I'm really giving it a good wipe down and trying to get any food stuff that might have gotten on it off of it and out of the way, and just sort of wiping it down, giving it a nice fresh wipe down, because dust can get on dishwashers too. And then after that, I'm going to move on to the microwave, because it's been a little while since the microwave been cleaned, and I noticed when I was wiping down the outside of it that it had some grime on the handle on the right where you can open it, and I thought probably the inside, it's been about a month since it's been wiped down, so it needed to be cleaned too. So I started out with the Mrs. Meyer's spray on this as well, and I was spraying that down on the inside and towards the back, and I took out the glass bottom, the turntable, and the rack that it spins on, and was cleaning that out nicely. And then as I was cleaning, I realized that there was food and grease that had gotten on the top of the microwave, probably from stuff that being cooked in there, and it didn't have the cover on it, and so it just sort of exploded upward. So I ended up busting out the Method Heavy Duty Degreaser to clean the top of the microwave and get it all fully clean, so it's not greasy anymore, and it's much nicer now to open it up. It wasn't bad before, but it's just nicer to be able to microwave your food in a microwave that's nice and clean and fresh. Now the glass had a moment to sit in the sink with the water running over it, so a lot of the stuff that had gotten onto the glass turntable kind of washed off easily into the sink, and so there wasn't a huge amount for me to wash with the sponge, but I still gave it a good wipe down just to get it clean and make sure any gunk was off of it that I didn't see. But it came clean rather easily, which was nice, and so I just gave it a nice wash and rinse and then dried it off, and back into the microwave it went. I actually dried the bottom part that turns on first and stuck that in the drying rack, so that way I had somewhere nice and clean to put it that, you know, I felt comfortable laying it, that I could grab it really quickly before putting it into the microwave. Not that the counter would have been a bad spot, but if there was any water still on it, I didn't want that to get on the counter, and the drying rack just seemed most appropriate. So back that stuff goes into the microwave, and the microwave is ready to use again. Now time to give the sink the rinse down and get anything that is sitting in there from me washing the dishes down the drain, and just to sort of clean the sink off in general and my items that I wash with, because I noticed that water sometimes will collect in the bottom of the ceramic dish that holds the two bubble up dishes, just from me pushing down on the spring to make it bubble up, and water will sometimes go into there. So it seemed like a good idea to rinse that out and give it a nice drying, so that way I could put everything back in there and it wasn't just sitting in, you know, soapy water or just water that happened to come out of the two dishes. So now that the kitchen swept and mopped, my next job is to get the hallway swept and mopped, and that'll be the last two chores that I do during this cleaning session. So I hope my video gives you some cleaning inspiration as well. I know watching other people's cleaning videos certainly helps me, so I hope mine helps you and gets you motivated, maybe even gives you some ideas, because that would really be fantastic. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please click the like button down below, and if you haven't yet already, if you would please click subscribe, I'd appreciate it. To subscribe is completely free. You just click that and click the little bell if you'd like to be notified when I have more videos, and I hope to see you in the next video.